Okay, greetings, dear Leo. This one's for you. You know what's happening. It's Tarot Lumination. It's your June 2017 general reading. And this is you, Leo. I don't know if you can hear the wild parrots in the background, but I do. Pardon me. I have no control over this situation. So, like I was mentioning to the other signs, we're just going to keep it stripped down, bare bones tarot. Nothing fancy going on here. No reversals, no flips, no qualifiers, no oracles, nothing. Just trying to keep it simple. I'm not even hardly doing any mention of the astrology or the charts or the current patterns or anything. Because sometimes it's a little bit too much for people. And sometimes it's enough just to handle one little tarot reading, okay? So we're going to try and keep it simple. And I hope you get something out of it. And I hope I don't, cause too much disruption or anything in the readings. I try to be clear. I try to read from the heart as opposed to doing it by the book, so to speak. All right. So I was already pre-shuffled. All right, but I'm taking a last couple of spins right up to the last moment, so you get a clean, clear deck. Okay, dear Leo? All right. Why do I feel like somebody's watching me, especially like a whole bunch of Leos? That feels totally weird. I've never had this before. You know, it's that feeling where people are just sitting around a table and you've got your heads propped in your hands, looking way low, like, oh God, how funny. Anyway, thank you, Leo. So, God, okay. So, we're going to cut now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It feels like it's a private reading with like 3 or 4 Leos. That's so funny. Cool. Anyway, okay, here we go. Here's the general vibe. Here's like where you're coming from, okay? And here's where we are now, the ever-present now, moving into June, okay? And here's where you're heading as you move through into June, coming through. I call this like a little journey kind of spread, and I try to read from the heart, but already at this point we're facing into the unknown, because we don't really know what's going to happen. But that's why we come to these little tarot readings. So at least we have a bit of a heads up. Or a perspective, let's put it that way. Spiritual GPS, they call it. Okay, so this is an idea of like how best to move on. Like, you know, what do we do with all of this? Because we don't really know what's coming. We may know what we want or like. This might be heading your way. This might be from your own invocation. Like if you're a really good manifester of your own destiny and you really already know what's coming, that's cool. But otherwise, it might feel like it's coming to you from out of nowhere, okay? And then as you move forward, you suddenly realize, well, not suddenly, but you gently realize like, oh my gosh, I am at least partially involved in the creation of my own outcome. So, oh, geez, that's a holy bleep moment. I hope it works out, blah, blah, blah. Or I hope it doesn't do blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing. Almost. And then here's where it's all sort of heading, it seems. And then underneath we have what I think of as the weather. And that's just kind of around, surrounding the energy for the month for you. And it's up to you what you make of it. It's not necessarily good or bad. It's just what is. And you can always find a way to take an opportunity of the weather. And so what we have for you is the 5 of Swords, which indicates the energy of like futile conflict. And so, dear Leo, if you're looking out the world around you and you're thinking like, what's going on? Why am I wasting all this time and energy in futile conflict? Why are others wasting time and energy in futile conflict with me? It makes no sense at all. This is silly. We have to move beyond this, okay? So let's make it happen. Let's have a look. Let's see what's going on. So, general vibes. Let's have a look. Okay, appreciation and like a sense of like, I am Leo, okay? I already know how else I am. And sometimes I have to admit, if I'm honest, like not everyone else notices. Okay? But that's normal. A lot of people go around feeling unwanted, unappreciated, almost invisible. Now, that's not normal for Leo. Leos tend to be very aware that they are here on this planet, and they're going to make the most of it and enjoy it. So it might be, dear Leo, that you are wrestling with a sort of perhaps internal conflicts that seem futile, like trying to figure this out versus that out, and like what's working and what's not working. And how is that being perceived in the outer world? Like, here I am Leo. I'm already awesome, I know that, but somehow or other, I get this feeling like there's some big kind of upgrade thing going on, and I'm not quite sure if I fully understand how it all works. Because here I am right now with this general vibe of I'm doing a really, really good job. And it's obvious that others do appreciate me and understand me, and they can tell it is fully evident in what I do, okay? How I conduct myself. Now, dear Leo, what I'm sensing is that there is another layer. And it isn't all just about perception and creativity and the risk and the fun and the romance and all uh, the excitement of being a Leo at the core. It's and what you do and how you express and how you um, you know deliver that creative self-expression that is typical Leo type energy, shining and being appreciated. And yet here we are. To me, this feels like a little puzzle. Like, okay, hmm, hmm. Like over here, they're wondering like, Leo, we totally get it. You're awesome. It's just like we're wondering like, okay, that's beautiful, but it's almost like we know there's more. And where's the love, so to speak? It's almost like we love what you do, Leo, but who are you? Okay? It's not just about what you do, it's who you are. And you might be working on it, dear Leo. You might be struggling to find out, like, who am I really? I feel like there's a whole new me that is becoming revealed here, and we need to get on with it. And I never actually considered that this might be an issue. In fact, it never occurred to me before about the whole difference between what do I do, like being perceived by others and appreciated by others, and definitely being valued and understood. But it isn't just about what I do. It's who I am. Who I am. Who am I really? Like, who the bleep am I really deep down inside? I know that's not the normal interpretation for this card, but that's what I'm feeling here, okay? So I feel obliged to tell you, Leo, okay? No, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just trying to call it out. I feel this as a heart reading. It's a journey spread from the heart. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you do. In your energy, Leo, it's all about the heart. It's big love, okay? It's all right out there. That's what it is. So, where are you coming from coming into June? Okay. I don't know if this is like Mr. Big Shot or like Mr. Wannabe Big Shot. I don't know if this is I wish. I have a feeling it's more like I know this is how I am. I know this is how I am. I do have all this wealth. I do have all this abundance. And I do shamelessly wear the crown. I am a Leo. Look at me. Look at me in the background, okay? I don't know what those crazy animals are, but let's just pretend they're lions, okay? Actually, it looks more like bulls, but anyway, you get the picture. And it's all about like being in charge of your resources, your abundance, your talents, your wealth, okay? So can you see the connection between this card and this card here? It's just like, it's almost like a little puzzle. Like, I know this is me. I know this is inside of me, and I've been dealing with it all through not just May 2017, but for the last year or so. And I've got to get it together. I got to put it all together. I have it all. I do have all the resources. Deep down, I know I am very regal. That's just my nature anyway. And I'm happy to wear the crown. It suits me. I love to wear the crown and celebrate that and demonstrate that and live by example to others and show others what it's like to be a master of your own resources in a very responsible way that doesn't just benefit me, Leo, not like, like the egomaniac, narcissist, vanity type energy stuff. No, this is about real resources, real energy coming into the month with an awareness, Leo, that you do have that. It is embedded into your natural psyche. It's just that I'm feeling that um, it's not fully morphing. It's like you're in conflict with yourself because of the issues we talked about with this card here, about discerning between who am I and what do I do? How am I valued by others? And not only others, but by myself. And maybe I'm just going to have to go deeper and figure it out in this like puzzle that I can't seem to solve. Like, who am I? Who am I? Not just what I do. So where are we right now? Okay, look, more freaking pentacles. Look, so I'm not going to say this is a money reading or anything. Like, this is a big, broad, wide, just general energy reading. Love and relationship, it doesn't matter. This could be to do with home, family, job, resources, college, school, retirement, balancing the checkbook, coming to terms with money, coming to terms with your skills, your talents, your true resources. And in such a way, right now, it feels evident to me, as your reader at this moment in time, under observation, by the way, that I feel obliged to say that I feel you as going through kind of a humbling process of self-evaluation here, which is not something you really want to do. Because I have a feeling you'd much rather just be out there, being the big, bold Leo. But coming into June, it may just be that we've come to a realization that there is this like back and forth internal conflict going on, this energy of trying to figure it out, trying to understand this who am I, what do I do equation, and come into balance, because it does affect everything in your life on a grander scale. It isn't just about what you do, what you have, your stuff, your things, your talents and your skills and all that. It's also a question of understanding that over time, how you conduct yourself with the use of all your resources and all your energy does have consequences later on, like planting little seeds, like the work that you start early in life and the tasks and skills that you're born with and that you have and that are valued and appreciated do have consequences, and they can lead to big results and rewards and appreciation and stature and stature in the community, in the world at large, where others perceive you as the king, Leo, and you conduct yourself as the king. But you have to understand, with the energy of the king, male or female, it doesn't matter, whoever's watching, forget the gender, just consider the energy. With great power, great skills, great abundance comes great responsibility, okay? And so in your puzzling moments, trying to figure it out, trying to understand, wow, this is actually happening, and now I really do have to live up. I have to walk the talk. If I'm going to wear the crown, I can't just show off and just say, ha, 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 I wear the crown. There's a whole lot more that goes with it. You have to conduct yourself as a highly, highly capable, responsible, very, very resourceful, very, very abundant leader. Well, let's just say king. I don't want to say king because then it defines a gender, but more like a custodian, like the representative of wealth and talents. In other words, if you're going to be so much like in the limelight, which is natural for Leo, in one way or another, in one aspect of your life, then it can't just be at the energy of like, see how cool I am, see what I do, see all the rewards I deserve and all the stuff that I have accordingly. It's about how do I conduct myself in that arena, on that stage, because other people notice, and then that has a ripple feedback on you, dear Leo. So you might be going through not just an evaluation, but a full-on realization about your true wealth, your true skills, your true talents, your true abilities, and how there's more to it than you might have ever perceived before. And I don't know, it might be a little bit scary. I don't see a lot of fear here, but I do see you, feel you wrestling with this equation, trying to balance it out, so to speak. Well, not even a balancing. You've got it all together. It's just, how are we going to do and live out the upgrade? How are you going to walk the talk? How are you going to wear the crown responsibly? So, moving forward, what's happening? Okay, it's clear that you are determined to figure this out. Okay, so whatever, okay, let's just go back to this. I hardly ever go back to the opening weather card, but let's just say that you are feeling like you're going through these futile, irresolvable conflicts, trying to understand this stuff, trying to understand your own nature, understand your own regal nature, and how are you going to live up to the crown? Well, it's obvious that you are going to try and figure it out. You really, really want to, because you're battling with these highly ambivalent energies inside of you. Like there's the one side of Leo, and then there's the other side of Leo. And what I'm feeling here in this reading, it is very much about who am I as opposed to what do I do? And for if there's a lot of guys reading this, that might make more sense than females reading this, because females are more likely to be in touch with who they are rather than what they do. Whereas male energy is more likely to be concerned about what I do is who I am. And that's not really true. Who you are is who you are, and what you do is actually a separate thing. You might be a very, very skilled football coach, for example, like that dude in Pennsylvania, and then all of a sudden it turns out you're a freaking child molester. And so it doesn't matter how awesome you are at blah, 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 if deep down who you are is actually an effing pervert, and it's like, what can you do about that? Then it's a problem. And then all of a sudden reality hits, but it's in a very blunt way. And we don't want to go that way, Leo, okay? That was kind of a rude and yucky analogy. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but the point is understanding the power. With great responsibility comes great power. If you have all this abundance and resources, what are you going to do with it? And I think you have made a decision coming into June that you're sick of the internal conflicts and you want to go ahead. You want to overcome the conflicts and win. You have decided that I am going to prevail. I am going to take charge of this internal battle, and I will succeed. I will win. I will prevail, because there's no way I'm going to let the crown slip. There's no way I'm just going to give it away and just degenerate. No, no, no. Not acceptable for Leo, okay? So, moving forward, how are we going to deal with this? Because this is you've obviously set yourself a big challenge for June, okay? It's just like, screw this. We're going to figure this out, okay? I'm not going to let this crown, there's no way I'm going to let this crown go south. Not an option. All right, so moving forward, how to deal with it. Look at this, freaking pentacles everywhere. Okay, here's what I'm feeling. I'm just going to call it straight out. Leo, it's a reality check. It's almost like, please don't be offended, but it's a living as if card where like you got to go to the mirror and look at the mirror and say, dear Leo, I love you very much. It isn't all about my wealth, my abundance, my awesomeness, and all of this wonderful splendor that I have by nature in the way that I'm born. It isn't just that. I have to be grateful and aware. I have to be more and more and more aware that with all this wealth, with all this abundance, it's very, very, very important in order to live by example. I have to radiate the energy of someone who really does understand abundance and be extremely grateful In other words, you don't splurge, you don't use all the wealth and abundance for self-gratification, for self-aggrandizement, for self-adornment, for everybody, look at me, just look at me, see how awesome I am. It's more about like representing the energy of wealth and abundance and creativity and joy and love and heart and happiness symbolically, so that like it's clear to others that you do have that. You do have that. You are who you are. The wealth and the abundance that is normally Leo's by right is who you are. In other words, it's not a facade. It's not just for show. It's just not for the sheer pleasure of being like a star, a movie star, or a pop star in my own little world. It's much more about how can I share my generosity, my wealth, my abundance with others by example, so that everyone else has a chance to see what it's like to feel how awesome that I do. Okay? Even though you might not feel awesome all the time, a good, healthy Leo has a very strong sense of self and self-worth and awesomeness that's almost indestructible. And dear Leo, this way this feels to me is that moving forward, a healthy way to do that is become extremely vividly aware of how incredibly blessed you are. And it's not there for self-indulgence. It's there for everybody, okay? It's to be shared like the big family table, just like the regal king character would do with his kingdom, his people, or her people. Don't worry about the gender, okay? So what lies ahead moving into this journey? You have set yourself up for a big month, Leo. So how are we going to handle it? What's coming at you? Uh-oh, some truth. So maybe some deep, hard truth that might involve the separation of what is untrue. Okay, so as you move through this journey and you very, very determinedly decide to move forward to figure this out and move on, and step by step, gentle, tiny steps, one golden nugget at a time, you figure out how to evolve to that higher vibration, higher level Leo. Now, in the process, what may occur is like the reciprocal energy of this energy of conflict that's around you, well, not around you, but more like internal conflict, where it's almost like going to war with yourself, where this regal part of yourself has to face up to certain truths about yourself, which may not be acceptable or pretty to yourself. And then it becomes a very humbling, very, very humbling experience for Leo. And Leos don't necessarily like to bow down to others, so to speak. But this could be a very humbling process as you go through your own upgrade, so to speak. In other words, having to face certain really, really hard truths about yourself that may have been, really hard for you to understand, even with your best and highest intentions, and then having to separate yourself from everything that's false. This is something like some considered a divorce card. So it would be the energy of divorcing yourself for whatever is not acceptable, honorable, and up to standards for true Leo energy. And that, dear Leo, could be a very humbling experience, okay? It might not be fun, it might not be pretty, but you can handle it. You have so much, you have so many resources and skills and talents that you can tap into, that however painful and uncomfortable it may be as you go through the, picking off one by one the things that are actually not serving you, the obstacles to being a true Leo, then it might feel awkward. Like some people might not want to know you anymore. You might not want to know certain people anymore. As you evolve, you realize, oh my God, I was carrying myself in a world, in ways, in manners that are not befitting for a Leo, a true Leo who wears the crown. And I'm not saying like you're now having to put yourself above others. It's more about getting real. Like if you really, really want to be the true Leo, you've got to hang out with people who reflect that back to you instead of like vanity. In other words, if I'm going to get really rude here. I hope this, please don't be offended. But if you are reading the energy of a Leo who's wrapped up in narcissism and vanity, and you are hanging out with a lot of people who are like sycophants, who like to suck up to that so they can get some of the light, that's below you, okay? It's time to sort of grow up and move on beyond that, where you don't get off on like hero worship and groupies and things like that. It's like, there's more, okay? There's more going on, Leo. And like, as much as it's nice to be appreciated by others, in order to evolve and grow, you might have to, like, it's like facing up to a realization that certain things might have to change and certain things might have to go. And in other words, like I said just a few moments ago, like, you may have to divorce yourself from things that don't work. And that's how you resolve the conflict. It's how you can like say, enough is enough. We're going to put this shit aside and stop doing these internal battles. We're going to figure it out and grow up and move on. Okay, and that could be divorcing yourself from whatever is not acceptable for a highly evolved Leo. Okay, so hopes and fears. What about it in this journey? It's pretty epic. Okay, it might entail, ouch, cutting off something that isn't appropriate. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say this is a love reading. It's not. This is a general reading. So please don't read this as just romance and love. Please treat this as more to do with the energy of love in the broad sense. If in the process of evolving through June and coming to the realization that certain conflicts have to be addressed in a very regal manner at the highest level of court, so to speak, and if it involves a realization that you do have to divorce yourself from what is not appropriate for Leo, or others have to divorce themselves from you because you are no longer appropriate for them if you are still conducting yourself as a lower vibration Leo. Either way, when that energy of separation happens and occurs, it can feel like a breakup, heartbreak, very, very painful. In other words, as you do evolve and you cut away and grow into the newer self, and you're divorcing and separating from what is not good for you, then it can feel like literally heartbreak, like you're stabbing yourself in the heart. But it could also feel as though you've been stabbed in the heart by others who might be delivering this same tarot message to you, but in a way that's not so pretty. In other words, I'm just calling it out right now. And I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but sometimes the evolution and growth occurs in ways that feel very uncomfortable. In other words, let's say you never found this little tarot reading, and the same thing happened to you, and this energy that was no longer appropriate for you got cut off and divorced, then that could feel like betrayal and treachery and loss and pain and suffering. But either way, you learn and evolve and grow. So the question is, do you want to do it the hard way or the healing way, the way through love? Either way, if you're scared of being really, really hurt inside because of this evolutionary phase you're going to face in June, it's understandable. And if you're hoping that this energy of like pain, betrayal, treachery, loss, and deceit can be addressed finally at once, if this is perhaps at the core of the matter, in other words, you're so deeply in love with things that you actually know deep down aren't appropriate for you, then it can be extremely painful to have to separate. But it's the hope that you can go through that you can endure the heartache that comes with separating yourself, your lower self, from your higher self. Like, it's moving on, in other words. So this is very brave. Again, Leo energy, you tend to be very courageous, and it looks like you're taking the decision, making the decision that you're willing to face this energy, even as ugly and painful as this may be. You are willing to face this head on in order to grow and evolve and love you first. Okay, and that's one of your big jobs on earth, Leo, is to love you first by example and show what it's like so other people know how to do it. Where is it all leading? You see? It comes right back in a big full circle again. You can come back and tune into, look at this, it's almost like a marriage between yourself and yourself. Okay? Isn't that beautiful, Leo? It's like you come back into your own. Like towards the end of June, you start to realize, wow, now I am married to myself in a way that is appropriate and balanced. Okay? The masculine side of myself, the feminine side of myself, not just what I do, but who I am. So deep down, who you are and what you are inside is that very, very generous, loving, caring Leo who knows that they have way more love than they almost know what to do with, and they're willing to share. And they know about the energy of wealth and abundance, and they want to bring it on, not just for themselves, but for others, because that's the really, really, really beautiful thing about Leo is that sometimes they are so happy, they can be so happy that it's so obvious that they're in love with themselves. It's almost obscene, and everybody's jealous. I want that, I want that, I want to be that. But when it crosses into vanity and stuff, that's not cool. But it looks like you're transitioning into like, man, this is so cool. Wow. It isn't just about what I do or how I do it, and what everybody thinks. It's about who I am inside, where it is all about the love. It is all about the feminine aspect of carrying that radiance and light and abundance, but in a more like gentle, loving way, okay? Where you can wear the crown, but it's in a very much more balanced way, and it's much more healthy for yourself in your life, in your world coming up later in the year, and for everyone else around you, because this whole little energy of appreciation will just become magnified even more as everybody realizes, wow, Leo, you don't just do what you do, you actually walk the talk. You are that loving, radiant being, and you were willing to face your own demons, your own heartache, as you evolve and grow into that fully merged self. It's beautiful, Leo. It's beautiful. Okay, Leo, that's what I got for you. I hope you can reinterpret that however you want, just for yourself, okay? It is from the heart, from Tarot Lumination to you. Have a good June. Don't forget to read for your sun, moon, and rising, and pass it on, okay? Pass it on. Thank you so much, Leo. Bye-bye.